What's up, disciplined investor?
We got Benzinga CEO Jason Raznick here with us.
The man, the myth, the legend, Tom Nash.
Peter Schiff on the Power Hour with us live today. Interesting, different, unique, innovative companies. Mia, you are live with us on the Power Hour. What's up?
Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Jessica Billingsley, that is the CEO of Akerna, the best trade idea resource out there.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the Ticker Nation Power Hour. This is my best Luke Jacobi impression. I'm sorry, I'm not Luke Jacobi.
Woo! Yeah, you might need a few more.
Yeah. I need some more Red Bull. I need some more other things. Yeah, because Luke's energy is hard to match. But welcome to the Power Hour. Spencer Israel, Aaron Bree, Jason Raznick in the house. No Luke. Oh, Jason Raznick is here. What's up?
Hey.
Oh, hey. Wow,
what are you doing here?
What am I doing here? What are you doing here?
You're never on our show.
Never clearly is not a thing.
We invited him on today. We got a special show today.
All right. No, I'm just kidding. I heard Drew is coming in because Luke. You guys talk about why Luke wasn't here?
I was just gonna say Luke is not here very clearly. He had a family thing is what I was gonna say. Luke was like, I got a family thing, I gotta leave. Can you step in? I was like, okay. So that's what I did. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were coming on today. Honestly. I didn't.
No, I don't need I should be doing other stuff right now, but I just wanted to say hi.
Okay.
Luke's grandma, who's been sick, passed away, so that's why Luke today had to leave.
Everyone send Luke your love. We are sending him our love from here, but the show must go on, and that's why we got 3 guests in the next hour. We got a lot to get to. So Raz,
one question: How was the
beach body?
Beach body, yeah.
I've lost weight. I've lost 2 pounds already, so it's great. It was great. No, it was really good. It was. What
were they saying? Seriously.
I don't want to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it for you. We're going to have a recap article up very shortly. We'll have clips up on the Benzinga Clips channel. You should all check it out. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what was said because you should watch it yourself. The show just ended. It's up on YouTube.
Wait, I have a question. Did you watch it?
I watched part of it, not all of it.
Okay. I love you. You're the man. I love how you answered those questions. That was great. You did a great job. That was great.
Thank you. I learned from the best.
Yeah, you did a phenomenal job spoiling it. But then I was like, wait, he's not giving me anything. So I was like, this is great. Okay, so that was good, Spencer. You've learned because you definitely. Tom White said Benzinga shows aren't rolling over to the next show. You must click.
Look, YouTube does this sometimes. I'm sorry, Tom White. We'll email YouTube because they have a feature where you can set a redirect from one stream to another. We do it every time, but it doesn't always work, and I don't know why. So I'm sorry, Tom White. We're working on that, but something
all right.
Out of control.
Did you like having Aaron Bree in the office this week?
Like is a strong word.
Same.
It was okay. It was okay. I don't know. I mean, he's far away from me now, which is nice. He was sitting next to me for 3 days straight, which is a lot to handle.
He just, in my opinion, Spencer.
Yeah.
My years of Benzinga, he has a ton of potential, and I want him to get there.
We're going to talk about him as if he's not a year.
No, I just want him to get there. He has a ton of potential. That's all I want to say. And I want him to get there.
Yeah.
And I think one day it'll click. And on the show, he's great. All that stuff, he's great. He's a good-looking kid. He dresses nice. He dresses nicer. But there's something that I think is holding him back. That he'll just one day just come in and rock it out, and you're gonna be like, Aaron Bree is the greatest guy we have. That's my belief. I swear, dude. I met him on Twitter. He was a fan of the shows or a fan of something, and I just think he has this potential. Now, let's talk about Drew Levine for a second.
Dr. Drew, let's talk about him.
Okay, so Dr. Drew, I see you making an effort on the TikToks. I do, okay? But here's what you got to do. You got to get people to watch the first 3 seconds, okay? All you got to say, you got to come out and go ready? Spencer, I may blow out your ears. Just hold on. You got to come out and be like, Hold on. You got to be like,
we got to hold on for
oh my God, you're not going to believe this one stock is going to, and then they're going to tune in to hear the next part. You get on and you're like, you got to get them to listen to the first 3 seconds. Once you get the first 3 seconds and then you do a part 2 in 6 seconds, that's how TikTok blows up. What's wrong? Can you not hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I see Spencer doing like the twisty shit.
Yeah. Drew is too quiet. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So you guys, if you're listening to the show, we got some new people on the show today. Yeah. And not new like to you guys, but will you guys give likes, share on your social, tell the world. It's Kevin. It's not a Jim Cramer. The voice is not really the thing. Drew, you don't have to do that, to be honest. What you have to do is get people to make sure they want to see. So, Drew, if you got on there and said this, forget the voice. If you said this stock was bought by the biggest whale in the industry, and then they want to hear what the stock is, you got to tease that 3 seconds. It's like that girl you had a crush on in college and you're like waiting to talk to her outside class, but then she walks fast. So you had to chase her more versus she was just there right away to talk to you. Then it wasn't the mystery, the tease. That's what you need to do with TikTok. I learned that from Justin Becker. Justin Becker's a local guy in Michigan. He has hacked TikTok. He has 2.5 million subscribers. All he does is these little things like, I can guess the color. I can guess a number 1 through 10. I can whatever. And then they say the thing. My kids used to do it all the time, and now they don't because they know it's stupid. But because they're just like, he's not guessing it right. He's just doing this thing. He has 4 accounts, and they have a total of 6 million followers. All I'm saying is the TikTok algorithm is get past 3 seconds. So you just got to tease them for 3 seconds. That's all.
I like what Tom White says. Oh, maybe it wasn't Tom White. I'm sorry. It was somebody else. We got to summon our Billy Mays. Summon your inner Billy Mays. Right?
Yeah. Yes. Like they go, and there's one more thing. Like, I'm not saying you have to do the voice, the Jim Cramer thing or whatever, or get drunk and do a little TikTok thing. I'm not saying that. It's just the 3 second, 4 second tease. And Drew, have fun with it this weekend. You're actually I like listening to you. I really like it. It's not about emotion, by the way. It's about getting people for the mystery. If you watch the TikToks, and by the way, this is when I say TikTok, this is everything, Spencer. Every single show that you watch, CNBC, whatever it is, movies, it's all the suspense. And I'm going to hang up because I know I'm not talking stocks, but I got to tell you one last thing.
Okay.
For Netflix, it's Memorial Day weekend. If you guys have not seen Long Shot, and I don't mean with Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen, I am referring to the baseball movie where the guy was going to be in jail for someone is giving me the hitchhike symbol. Are you hitchhiking over there, Drew? I mean, Aaron?
No, that was me. I was just saying that's one of the best documentaries I've seen. With Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David.
Oh, I've seen that.
Dude, Drew, Aaron, I knew what you were doing too, but yeah, that was unbelievable.
Okay.
And I just saw it. So if you haven't seen it, it's an hour. It's a quick watch, and I hope you guys made a lot of money, by the way, on these stocks because you guys. Let me tell you this story. I love this one stock. BFFV or what was it? Big Five Sporting Goods. BGFV. I bought it at $1.89, guys. I sold my shares at like $2.90. It's at $34 today. If I didn't sell those shares, they'd be worth $200,000 today for $150,000 gain. No, $180,000. It'd be worth $150,000 gain. So that's it. That's my life, and that's why I'm at work. Yep. See, but I like work. I'm trying to build stuff. If you know any good designers, developers, let us know, and let the boys take the show over. I'll leave you guys alone. Much love, peace, and love. Who are the guests, Spencer, real quick?
Oh, man, we got Joseph Kalish at 12:15 from –
You got Joseph Kalish? How'd you get Joseph Kalish?
From Anachart? Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
No, it's actually Kalish.
It's Kalish? See, I told you, Aaron Brigg. Damn it, this guy. I said we have to get his pronunciation right. And he's
no, who told you it was Kalish?
He said he said don't worry about it. The guy's cool. I was like, no, I'm not going to not worry about it.
Well, I called him and asked.
He's a nice guy.
He is a nice guy, and I wanted to get his name right. So
all right, so it's Kalish.
Who else?
We got the CEO of Seer Bio. Omid Farokhzad at 12:30. We're going to talk
good.
biotech. We're going to talk.
He's so good.
And then we got Aries Trading on, which is one of these newer retail trading platforms. And he's actually going to be. He's in office. He might be in office right now.
I just got to say, I love you guys. Spencer, Israel, and I bicker sometimes, but it's all in love. I want Spencer. I want us all to go after the prize and have fun while we do it. Spencer, if you want to play golf this weekend, let me know. I know you may not.
I'm going to Traverse City for the very first time in my life, so I'm excited.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Do you know where you're staying?
No, I don't know. No, I don't know anything. I'm just kind
of a surprise.
Yeah, it's a surprise.
Wait, Raz, speaking of where you're staying, me and my buddy checked out a place last night. I think we're ready to lock down a lease.
Whoa. Slow down there, Amby. I don't.
Yeah, Spencer, good point. Can I tell you guys a little secret?
Sure.
No one else is really listening, so I ask you guys where you're staying. There's a reason. If there's someone I like at Benzinga, if I know they're on a trip and I know where they're staying, I call the hotel and I send them stuff to the room, or I send stuff. So I found out Darwin was in New Orleans.
That's so nice of you. Wow.
And like I buy a dinner for them. Like Darwin was New Orleans. The lady would not send stuff to his room. I said, I'll give you the credit card. I'll have an Uber bring you cash, whatever it takes. She would not do it. So I failed on that one. I'm still upset about it. I told her
the Uber full of cash is a freaking Raznick.
Well, I just was saying the most ridiculous things to her because she was not budging on anything. I'm like, well, what if someone showed up with $300 in cash to tip you right now? Would you do it? Like, we don't have it set up. It is Corona. I'm like, no, Corona's over. And she's like, well, we will not do it.
Yeah.
And then this guy Benny, he used to be at Benzinga. He went to dinner with like four to this thing is starting, Postman, in 30 seconds. He went to dinner with like 4 people and their dinner was paid for. It was a nice surprise.
Well, I'm staying at an Airbnb anyway, so unfortunately there's no infrastructure for that at the Airbnb. But I appreciate the sentiment, and that's a very nice thing that you do, and we appreciate that.
That's why I ask. I know you probably wouldn't have said it publicly, but Born to be free. Of course, we have team members leave. Yes, that's good.
Have you ever had an employee leave? What do you think? What do you think
we're in jail? Like you're in jail.
What do you think is happening?
I know.
People move, man. People do things with their lives. Jeez, yeah, we don't lock them down.
Yeah, I put them in handcuffs. I love you guys. All right. Hey, I can send an Uber to an Airbnb. That's what I can do. Okay.
Maybe. All right. Thanks a lot, Raz. And just like that, he's gone. Hurricane Raz, everybody. All right, let's just cover just for 2 seconds before we bring Joseph on. Overall market, obviously, guys, the story of the day is going to be this AMC stuff. So I'm watching that. More green on the screen, a lot more green than red on the screen today. We're being led by. Woo! Yeah, woo. That woo is right. We're being led by healthcare. We're being led by technology, real estate. Only sectors lagging really are energy, materials, and banks are.
STK Stakes, wasn't that one of Raz's picks?
Yeah, it's like the most obscure.
What's going on with STK Stakes? That's my favorite stock. I love it, baby. STK. I'll be in Florida next week. Let's go for dinner.
AMC, for those watching that here, let me bring up my Benzinga Pro, and then we're going to get Joseph on here in 1 second. AMC, you can see that massive reversal. Where's my chart? There's my chart. Massive reversal in AMC today. It is now down almost 5%. It was up to almost $36 at the open. And we're now down in the $25 range. So a massive reversal on that. I guess the temporary king of the meme stocks. And you saw that reversal happen while we were streaming at like 10:30 or so. Same is true for GameStop. Same is true for BlackBerry. Same is true for Beyond Me. All these things that ran just reversed at like 10:30 or so. So that's the story of the day. But let's bring on our first guest if we can. Joseph, Aaron, you say his name because you seem to know him so well.
Yeah, I called him, like I said, it's Joseph Kalish.
Okay.
And we're going to play our little intro and bring him on.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Joseph Kalish. How are we doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. All right. I've got your site up on my screen. I'm going to share in 1 second. And a chart. Is that right?
Yes.
Explain. I like what you say at the top of the screen, the top of the chart there, that as I'm sharing my screen. The only place showing analyst price targets, past and present. So explain that. You're just tracking price targets and basically over time. Is that right?
So the biggest issue that came forward for me was price targets are such an integral part of stock research and stock news and ecosystem.
Right.
And you have a headline. This analyst gave this price target. That analyst gave this recommendation, and you want to say, okay, this is the now, but what was it before? Where does it come from? And so forth. So if you want to have some context about where does it come from, was the analyst always positive, negative? Was there a change? Is the headline anything new or is it old news? When you want to have context, that's what AnaChart is for that stock research. So you can know this analyst is biased. He thinks that the stock is a good stock. He thinks it's a bad stock. He had the change of hearts. Who else covers the stock? And so if you look at the price targets, if you connect all the price targets, the price targets from previous points as a trend line to the current one, you have much better understanding of the relation between the analyst and the stock.
So here's like my question though, because like a lot of times these like price targets, like they're obviously they're all rooted in like models and fundamentals, but they're not always rooted in reality. Like you see these price targets that are like an analyst will downgrade a stock to sell, and yet their price target is above the current price. That's just for example. And that makes no sense to me, right? Or vice versa. They upgraded to buy, and their price target is like lower. Like, how do you square that circle?
So that's not my job. I'm not.
Okay.
My job is for the buy side per se. The retail, the more professional. You have an analyst, and with all due respect, his model, his algorithm is his private information. I'm not telling him is he a good one, a bad one. I just want to bring some context between his past performances to the present, so you can say, okay, maybe he's using model A, and this is how model A fares with this and this stock. Maybe model A will fare better with a different stock. But what I want to give is a provide visualization of how does it look, how was his performance fared over time, and that's something that I think which is necessary especially for investors who are in some ways are at the mercy of sell-side analysts.
Yeah.
Because some of them move the market, some of them don't. Some of them wish to have everything very discreet and they don't disclose. Some of them are on the headlines every week. So all I want to do is just condense as much information as possible regarding the final outcome, give it to the user, and let him do his research after that. It's not very much different than you want to buy a product and you go on Amazon and you want to know here is the guys who gave this review and here are the guys who gave that review and here it changed, and you want to see the reviews of people who are not so happy with the product, and you want to see the people who are super happy with the product, and
Right.
you want to do a market research. So
Okay. So my question is, do you have a general sense then of like who the most influential? I know you're tracking relationships, but like as far as who the most influential firms or analysts are, because like I've observed this, not I have no data to back it up, but just like anecdotally, that certain analysts are like, for example, John Inch is an analyst at Ford, and he's super influential when it comes to GE, right? And there are some analysts that for whatever reason, like the market like values their ratings and their notes more than others. Do you also observe that?
So the website AnaChart is objective. It doesn't express an opinion. It just presents the facts. Here's the frequency of the amounts. We can go to you said GE?
Well, yeah, that was like one example. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we can share a screen and see what's up.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So if we go, okay. So here are guys, and if we go to the website and let's log in.
Wait, can you share your screen though? We're not seeing your.
Oh, you don't?
No. Can you go to the screen share
Oh,
button?
oh, I see.
Yeah.
Share. Okay. Share. Do you see it now?
I do see. Yeah, but can you get us over to your site? There we go. There we go.
Okay, so the site is very basic. You pick a stock, you search for an analyst or a broker. So let's say we want to go for GE. Sorry, over here, GE. So we go in, and here's GE. And the more analysts, the higher you can. The more analysts, the chart takes a little bit more time to upload, but it's really fast. So just give it a sec. Okay, so over here, let me zoom out so we can have a better image. Okay, do you see the image over here? Okay, maybe that's a little bit too much.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, this is great. We can also max out. So which analyst were you referring to?
I was referring to John at Gordon.
John what? I'm sorry?
John is what he goes by. Yeah,
I cover institutional analysts. Here, John Ritchie? No, not good John Ritchie. This is somebody else, right?
Yeah, John Inch is his name.
Which broker does he work for?
Gordon Haskett.
Oh, here's John Inch.
Okay.
So
let's go full screen. Maybe a little bigger.
So we can do this. We can take John Inch and we can show him. For instance, I can maximize the window because we've picked him up. Once we have the setting, just so I have a better resolution.
Okay.
So what you see over here, you see his price records over time, and you can see the frequency. And the more frequency you have, you know, let's say with the price targets that you have, the more points we have over here over time. So let's say over here, we take this part. We can zoom out on when GE took a dive. We're talking about 2017, 2018. If I'm not mistaken, there was something with a pension fund over there. So for instance, over here, he gave a 23 price target, which was pretty much on the same. He was neutral. And over here, he lowered his price target as the stock went down. Do you see it?
Yep, I see it.
So you can have a pretty much relationship. You know, did he give a forward warning that the stock is going down? Was he optimistic? You know, for instance, over here, he said there was an article in Barron's that he gave a buy recommendation and so forth. So you have a little bit more color. Over here, he was neutral. Most of the decline of the stock, he was neutral in aspect. So I just gave you over that, for instance, for John Inch over 1 second. You can have an image, for instance, when he says, you know what, let's say over here in his last recommendation, he upped his price target from 11 to 13. But most of it, you can see that, for instance, his relations is mostly neutral. Do you see that?
Yeah. I'm seeing that. I'm trying to blow it up on my screen here. So, it's a little better. So what you're saying is this isn't an indicator in this specific instance.
Yes.
His price target is just 1-to-1 relation to the stock.
Pretty much, you can say that John was neutral regarding the stock.
Okay.
He was neutral all throughout the decline and in the last, let's say from 2017. Let's say he started to cover the stock somewhere around 2012 when there was some media coverage, and most of his idea was you know, it was lukewarm. He wasn't negative about the stock. He wasn't positive.
I mean, he was pretty negative. He was on our show. He was pretty negative about it. But you have these ratings for every major sell side firm, is that right?
So yes, of course, that's the goal. So to give as many analysts as possible for as many stocks as possible. Especially right now, we only do the US. The goal obviously is to have anything which is Canada, UK, and so forth, which is probably going to happen 2021, 2022. So,
and who is using Anandchart? Is it like institutions? Is it retail traders?
Most of it is retail. We do have some hedge funds on the firm because it saves them time to focus on exactly on the sell side analyst that wants to cover the research that he wants. The cost is not expensive. It's less than what they'd make in 15 minutes. And I'm being conservative over here for the monthly cost.
Right.
So it takes time.
And then as far as just like going back to the question about the most influential, like again, anecdotally, Goldman Sachs seems to be, like, generally speaking, the most influential firm with their ratings. Do you have a sense of that as well, or not really?
So if you go on the visual, and you can see that I really like Daniel Ives from Wedbush. He's
He's good. Yeah.
He's a needle mover. So you can see that if we pick a stock, let's say that he covers.
Sure.
Let's say Tesla.
Great.
Go over here, and here's Tesla. So just a second. I used my smaller laptop, so it's a little bit more. My Chromebook, so it's a bit more slower, but it's the site still goes pretty much fast. But you have to understand there is a humongous amount of information on every chart. Usually, other vendors only give you one analyst at a time per chart, and I give you everybody on the same chart. So that's another. Yes, but still, it's still working pretty well. And Tesla is one of the bigger ones. Still, within 30 seconds, we should have it.
Wow. Must be a lot of data. I don't know why I'm echoing.
So every time you see a stock complete, you don't want to see Apple. Apple, we have about 60, 70 guys. So
let's take a look at this.
So I'll just refer to him when Daniel Ives talks about the stock. You can see, for instance, that when he talks, the stock moves usually a little bit after he posts. Just give me a second. And Daniel was pretty much neutral regarding the stock up until a couple of months ago, if I'm not, or was it Apple? I always confuse between the two. Oh wow. Just a second. So over here, I just want to show you, we have about 40 analysts. Apologies, that's why the reason why the stock got the load up was relatively slow. It's a big one. So over here, if we hide all of them, and we take Daniel Ives over here, and I just want to focus a little bit on the zoom. So you can see over here, for instance, he upped his price target, and over here, just a second, I'll hide the stock price. So he was neutral. He was neutral regarding the stock, but recently, he went for neutral. He went to buy over here, just about now, over here. He upped his price target when the stock went down, and I just want to show something. Right. So over here he went positive. Maybe in Apple it's a more specific example over here, but usually when he does that in other stocks, like with Apple or with Microsoft, if I'm not mistaken. Let me stop sharing the screen. What you see over here, usually when he does that, the stock moves up a little bit. With Apple, it's more tangible. The stock does move up maybe 3 weeks to a month after he posts. So he's a needle mover over there, and you can see that. You have yes, Goldman has its reputation, but the short answer, if somebody is a needle mover, you will see a post, you will see that the post is leading, i.e. before the stock's price moves up or down. And then a few weeks after that, you will see that the stock price is adjust to the price target.
All right, Joseph Kalish is the founder of AnaChart. The screen was up before. The link has been up, anachart.com. Joseph, thank you so much for joining us today on Power Hour.
Thank you for having me, guys.
All right, we're going to get our next guest on in just a second. Omid Farokhzad, the CEO of Seer, SEER, is the ticker on that. We're having some technical difficulties with him, but we're gonna get him on in a second. Let's talk about AMC here. That's all they want to talk about, Drew.
Yeah, I know. I keep seeing that in the chat. I mean, the sell-off was somewhat expected, right? It's kind of rebounding a little bit here at 27. Was at 36 today when it opened up, but I mean, you guys got to expect this somewhat, right? When you see a stock getting shorted and short squeezed, the cycle will rinse and repeat, right? So this thing's going to be volatile. It's going to be volatile for a while. I know some of you guys in the chat were trading and whatnot. Just know that it's going to be risky, right? So if you're going to try and do a day trade, and don't walk away from your computer, right? Because you might be down a few percent to 10. So
exactly. I mean, this can happen. I'm not really sure. Like somebody buying it at 35 or 36, maybe thought it could go to 40. I don't know. But like, let this be a lesson in like knowing and having stops, right? How often do we say this on pre-market prep? Like Dennis never goes into a trade thinking about what he's going to make. He doesn't think about what he's going to lose. If you're watching our show a couple days ago, we had this great guest on, Trevor Neal. This guy has been around for like 40 years. And he said for every winning trade, he has 6 losers. The difference is his losers are small and his winners are big because he controls his risk and he cuts his losses. So, and I know that's easier said than done. I know it's hard. I know. But you got to go in to a trade with the idea, okay, worst case scenario, it falls X amount, I'm done. I'm out. Right? It's hard to do that with a stock like AMC, because it's so volatile. But that's how you approach it. You go in with a loss limit in mind, whether it's a formal stop loss order or if it's just a mental stop. But that's how you prevent this from happening. That's how you cut your losses. All right, or prevent your losses from being big. We do have our guest here in studio, so I want to bring him on here. Oh, Priest Ray B, you're back.
Yes, sir.
You were gone for a minute. I didn't know where you went.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right, let me bring on our next guest here, Omid Farokhzad. He's the CEO of Seer Bio, ticker SEER. Omid, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Let's just start with this. I'm going to bring up a screen share, your site here, but tell us a little bit about what you're doing at Seer Bio.
Yeah, so Seer is a platform company, sells a product suite that enables scientists and clinicians to access the proteome, the totality of your proteomic information at speed, scale, depth, breadth that was previously not possible prior to Seer.
Explain, we are humble traders here. Explain a little bit more about that, though. Like what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so look, most folks know what the genomics is. People have invested in Illumina and an entire end markets that got created from broad scale access to genomics. Lots of exciting companies in that space. If you think of genomics as basically DNA, that is if you would, the software code for the instructions of life, then proteins are the machinery that actually put those softwares in action. And by that I mean virtually anything that happens in a living organism happens by the action of a protein or a group of proteins coming together as modules forming complexes that can then perform a particular function within the body. And proteins are massively more complex in terms of their structure, in terms of their quantity, in terms of their diversity than the genome. And so the ability to access the totality of the proteomic information, which is really, if you would, the study of life essentially, has been a major challenge given this complexity. And Seer provided a very scalable solution to solve this problem.
So can you explain then, like who you work with, like the market that you're in, and who your customers are?
Sure. Yeah, I think when you think of the customer base, varied. So we have customers in basic research and discovery applications, customers in translational research, or customers in diagnostic applications, and then in applied applications like ag, environmental, food safety, etc. So within the basic research, tons of applications in the proteomic space. As I mentioned, the proteome is complex in terms of how these proteins are different during health and disease. And by the way, remember, proteins are dynamic. Unlike your genome, which is static, what that means is that we're all born with the same genome, but during our lifetime, health and disease, our proteome changes, and it changes constantly. And so those variants of protein that come and go during health and disease, cataloging all of those protein variants, connecting the proteomic content and information to genomic information is this emerging field called field of proteogenomic that essentially connects your genotype to the phenotype, which is really kind of your status. And then the whole field of how these proteins interact with each other, enormously complex. Now, in the translational research applications, remember, virtually most drugs today that are used work by their effect on a protein target. And so as you begin to catalog the proteomic content and the proteomic information at a population scale, you get to discover a ton of biomarkers. A lot of these biomarkers become target for potential drugs. These biomarkers can be used as surrogates in clinical trials. And then these same biomarkers can be used for diagnostic applications. I mean, this whole field of early detection and picking up cancers, even at pre-symptomatic levels, became enabled by broad-scale access to the genome. But accessing the proteome just takes you to a totally different level in the kinds of information that you can get. You're actually showing a really great slide right now. That slide shows you the complexity of the proteome. As you go from the left side of the slide, which is the genome, and you move your way to the right, which gets you to the proteome, you can see biology goes through a number of complex steps. So we start off with 20,000 genes. All of us, every one of the cells in our bodies has the same genome. So if you start off with about 20,000 genes, but by the time you end up on the proteomic side, you now have over 1 million different protein and protein variants. And that's because, at every level, going from the genes to the transcripts and messenger RNA, more complexity gets added, and then proteins are made, and then proteins themselves get modified during health and disease. And so there has been no existing technologies prior to Seer that gets to the depth, the breadth of the complexity that you see on the slide on the far right side. And Seer actually enables you to really access the proteomic information and the complexity of it in a scalable way, and more importantly, in a cost-effective way at the speed that makes it possible to do the size of proteomic studies that today we do in the genomic space.
Here's a question from our chat. This is from Omid Biotech. He says, I know that Seer is in phase 2. Are they selling their proteins, et cetera, already?
Yeah, so by the way, you're looking at another really informative slide, and I'll comment on it on this slide. But let me first answer the question that came in. So we're on our phase 2 of our commercial plan. Our commercial plan is a 3-phase plan. The first phase was the collaboration phase, where our solution that's called the Proteograph product suite, it comprises our consumable, which includes our proprietary nanoparticles, an instrument that automates our assay. It's an OEM instrument, and then a software suite that helps a customer go from proteomic data, if you would, to proteomic and biological insight. So that solution, called the Proteograph product suite, we began to commercialize that late last year. We had a number of collaborations that include the Broad Institute, Oregon Health, Salk Institute, Discovery Life Sciences. And then with the completion of our phase 1 of the commercialization plan, which is called the collaboration phase, we've now shifted to the limited release phase of our commercialization plan. In that context, those are larger customers, essentially lighthouse customers, that and a set of them will actually become center of excellence for us, that they do large scale studies. And then the final phase of the commercial plan is the broad release, which I suspect will happen in early 2022. And so yes, the limited release customers, the collaboration customers have the instruments, they're performing studies. The collaboration folks, the instrument has been installed, validated, they've done pilot studies on it, and they're now entering larger scale studies. And the limited release customers are getting off the ground as well.
So next big catalyst for Seer, what is that and when?
Look, I think if you would, the dimensions in terms of kind of measuring our performance, I would say, come at various different levels. So number one, we're an organization in a very sharp slope of growth. So talent acquisition, the quality of the folks that are coming around the table, that's an important metric to follow. Next is that the validation of the technology in the customer's hands. We've already presented the technology at multiple conferences in 2021. In 2020, the underlying platform was published at a top-tier peer-reviewed journal called Nature Communications. I expect the customers are going to begin to present at conferences, and I expect the customers will begin to publish their own papers. Next is you have to kind of follow the commercialization of the product. Obviously, you have to keep our feet to the fire with regards to the placement of our instruments, the customers that we are acquiring. There's a tremendous amount of demand that we're seeing for the product. So I suspect the limited release phase, we've already signed up a number of customers that we announced at the last earnings call. We'll continue to progress the balance of this year. The next is, relationships that we formed with potential partners. Those are going to be relevant and important as you kind of measure the impact of our platform in the whole proteomic space. We've signed up collaborations with the leading providers of detection instruments, so Thermo Fisher, we announced that, Bruker, and most recently we announced SciEx. So these are the leading mass spec providers that are now partners to us. And then finally, you have to look at the revenue that's going to begin to get generated, follow our balance sheet. Today we have north of 520 or so million on the balance sheet. We had done an IPO and a follow-on in December. An IPO in December and a follow-on in January of this year. So those are, I think, would be good, if you would, litmus test of our progress, the balance of 2021.
All right, Omid, can't get to all the questions. We got to let you go. Thanks for coming on today at the Power Hour.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, not sure why I'm hearing an echo. I apologize for any audio glitches, but our next guest is in studio, so this audio should be clean. Reda Fali from Aries Trading, and I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to bring him on here just right now. Reda, welcome. First, let's get Drew on. Drew, where'd you go? There you are. Reda, welcome to the Power Hour. How's it going today?
Hey, how's it going? Can you guys hear me?
We hear you. We see you.
Fantastic.
Everything is crisp. And I'm happy. I'm going to bring on share my screen here. Aries Trading. Explain this. What is the platform?
Yeah, so Aries is a commission-free investment platform. We're actually pushing for the international market. Our goal is to just give people seamless, easy access to execute quickly on their trades with the best data possible.
So you said primarily international. Is that just because the U.S. market is so saturated with this stuff right now, or what?
Well, so we are going to be available in the United States. Actually, TradeStation, our lead partner, is a massive broker in the United States. I just think that overall, internationally, the same kind of access that we have here in the United States, especially with Webull, Robinhood, and any other major broker is just too saturated, right? So this is a huge benefit internationally.
So where specifically, though?
Right now, we actually have a ton of interest on our waitlist with users from the UK, because it seems like options trading in the UK is really popping off, but the data on the platforms, they just haven't caught up yet.
So, I hear about a commission-free trading platform, and I think great, but also on the other hand, like they've gotten a lot of criticism. Some of it deserved, some of it maybe not, in my opinion. How do you avoid the pitfalls that have plagued Robinhood, for example?
Sure, man. That's actually a pretty valid question. So I think the number one thing Robinhood did was absolutely disrupt the market, right? So when Robinhood came out, pretty much every broker had to push to commission free. And with that comes its own pitfalls, right? They have to cut back on some things because they don't have money coming in from commissions. But now that the market has adapted to a commission-free environment, I think a lot of the things that people were afraid of before have been taken care of, and brokers have been able to pull out enough money to run a stable build with good quality data without having the need to charge the end user commissions or excessive fees.
And then it comes down to payment for order flow, which just to be clear, should not be a dirty word. But I would assume that's part of this, right?
Yeah, so TradeStation is actually a direct broker, and there are ways to pull cash out of a client without having to run payment for order flow, but that is part of it, definitely.
Yeah. Do you feel like now that we've gotten to the zero commission model, that we have Robinhood to thank for, has that changed just the structure of markets, because the barrier to entry is non-existent? I mean, it's not you have to be, I don't know, what is it, 18 to open an account. You have to have like you have to have a smartphone, but rather than those are bars that most people can clear right now. Do you think that the low bar is just changing the way markets behave? Because
I mean, take a look at AMC over the last 2 days, right? I mean,
and I've been looking at it all day.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we're talking about new strikes being pushed. This week, when I was looking at it yesterday, $40 strikes were just being pushed, and this morning we were all over at 38, right? So the reality is, man, I think that the markets are changing. We have things like Dogecoin hitting billion-dollar market caps. You can't argue that the markets are changing, and part of it was Robinhood, but the other part of it is just, I think maybe it's my generation that's the ambitious go-getters, right? It's natural.
You're right. You're right. Okay, so give us a timeline here. We're not in the U.S. now.
Sure. Actually, we're in an open beta right now. We have just a little bit over a couple thousand users, just to make sure our servers are stable and that everything is working perfectly. Within the next 3 to 4 weeks, we should have a full global public launch. If you join the waitlist right now, you're going to be able to probably get a spot within the next couple of, maybe within the next week, actually, because we're going to be ramping up. Things have been going perfectly. We haven't had any issues. We're pushing a massive update today to take care of all suggested. We actually plan to have an open roadmap to make sure that our users are just as involved in building the platform as we are. Because just like we were talking about earlier with the market adapting, I think that the development is also adapting. And it's very important to take into the fact that I don't know exactly what the user wants, right? And I think that with an open roadmap, that we're just going to be able to be far ahead of the competition.
I see you guys have some.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I see you guys have some real-time analysis tools. You got real customer service. I mean, those are tools that not every brokerage has. So, like, tell me why you guys chose to implement those tools and what those look like exactly.
Yeah, man, I think customer service gets a super bad rap. Like, people don't like calling in, right? They would prefer to chat online, and that kind of sucks when you have a brokerage account, right? Like when you have money when you have money that you're trying to move, or you're frustrated about an investment, it's really nice just to get an answer. And I find it ridiculous that Robinhood, Webull, any of these major commission-free brokers that are the driving force behind these crazy market moves don't have anybody that you can just call or talk to, and that sometimes it takes days to get an email response. So customer service was a big must for me, because I'm a trader myself, and I just think it's important to be able to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. And then in terms of the real-time analysis tools, like, look, there are people out there paying hundreds of dollars a month to get access to unusual options data, to get access to charting data, and that to me is a little bit ridiculous. It doesn't seem to make any sense. So if we want to make the playing field level and we want to give people the best way to trade, then we have to make sure that those tools are being built and given to the user, especially if I'm going to make, if we can afford it, right? If there are enough users, it's definitely something that's affordable.
You said you're a trader. Got to ask you, what are you trading?
Yeah, man, I actually focus pretty much on disturbed markets, like smaller market caps. I think that's where the opportunities kind of exist because I can understand the companies a little bit more. I could find value a little bit more. I tend to stick away from, things like Dogecoin. But for a long time, I still do run a company called A2Trade that tracks unusual options activity. And I would go live and just trade options, trying to scalp day to day. So that's... I've done it all, man. I just been a trader at heart.
So your style is like trading like smaller, not necessarily liquid names. Is that right?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have a company, for example, that's trading at $50 million and you know that their assets are worth $65 million, eventually somebody's going to figure that out. And it's just about
but not always. But not always, though.
Value investing is still alive.
I mean, I'll give you here. How about this? I'll give you an example. Earlier this week, one of my positions, MMAC, got bought out at $27, and I started a position at about $17. And that was just because I knew that the company was worth about $30. That's a solar financing company, and that opportunity still exists. Those opportunities are they definitely still do exist. They're not massive gains, right? I'm not making thousands of percent instantly, but I got to make 67% over the course of a couple of weeks, and all it took was being able to read a balance sheet. And so value investing does exist. Is it slow? Yeah. But it exists.
Well, if you're not making 1,000%, then what are we even doing here?
Exactly, man. If I can't put 10 grand in Dogecoin and be a billionaire overnight, then I don't want to do it anymore.
A couple of questions from our chat here, just more about the platform. Regarding fund settlement, Robinhood does give you instant buying power. Can you speak a little bit to that, like as far as fund settlement and having immediate buying power?
Absolutely. So right now, if you do a regular smart transfer on our platform, it should clear within that same day, right? In the event that it doesn't, I really doubt that you could make a transfer last more than 24 hours, right? It's just given the way that banking is working nowadays. But in between an ACH transfer, a smart transfer, or a wire transfer, there's no way that you're not going to be trading within 24 hours on Aries.
All right. So I have a question for you. I've interviewed people at Webull. I've interviewed people at Gatsby, firms that are competitors of yours. I have had this belief for a while now that there is such a thing as making it too easy, right? This isn't a game. This is real money. Do you agree or disagree with that statement that trading should only be made so easy? Making it too easy makes it feel like a game and gambling, and it's not, or it shouldn't be.
I mean, exactly. So just like you talked about earlier, how Robinhood has changed the way that the market is being moved, right? Yeah. Robinhood was also the first broker, besides free commissions, to gamify it. Right? I mean, to make it like it's very simple, clean. It's like a game. And in my honest opinion, I think that has its good and its bad because it hooks people. Right? And it brings more eyes onto the market. And that, in my opinion, is a good thing. But people going on and playing it like it's gambling, playing with money that they can't afford to lose, that's also pretty bad. And part of Aries and part of what I think any broker should push to do is making sure that the customer understands what they're doing. And beyond that, like with our Discover page, understanding how to mitigate losses with options, right? Options are not just buy a call, buy a put. They were invented as a way to hedge. So with the Discover page, we make it incredibly easy to see like, okay, I want to long Apple, but I'm only willing to risk $100. What can I do? Which options can I buy and sell at the same time? Which strategy can I employ so that I can maximize my gain but reduce my risk? And right. I think gamifying education and gamifying the execution should be the same thing. You know, that should happen at the same time.
Yeah, and again, like it always comes down to personal responsibility, right? And you know, caveat emptor, right? Know where you're buying, know what you're selling. But you know, I also think, like, for example, Robinhood just got rid of the confetti, right? Like was the confetti necessary? Really?
No,
Like,
absolutely not.
like
But
the fact that I can already roll over, wake up, roll over, and make a trade within 5 seconds is like easy. Like, I don't need any bells and whistles to already make, you know what I mean? So that's just my, I don't think most people agree with me. I think I'm in the minority here, but like, I do think like the platforms should have like some sense of like responsibility on their end to not encourage reckless behavior. So, and I hope you can do that, because the last thing because the last thing we all want is for people to get blown up and then think the game is rigged forever, when in reality the best way to build wealth, and I know I'm soapboxing here, but the best way to build wealth is by investing over time, and platforms like this can help you do that, but you can't do that by blowing up. So
And that's exactly our focus, man. Just making sure that people understand, like, yes, the world of options does exist. Yes, the Dogecoin world exists, but there is also value investing. There is also advanced options. There are also advanced option strategies, and there's people making money out there. Just like Drew was saying earlier, like, does value investing still exist? Definitely, man. You know, like, definitely look at the value investing ETFs this year. I just think it's
well, they were hot for a few months for the first time in a decade, so I guess you've got that going for you, which is nice. But hey, no, props to you. You're a value guy. It's been really, really hard to be a value investor by and large in the last decade, because, and I'm not saying it's been hard to find opportunities. It's hard to look at the growth side and not be like, what am I doing? Looking for this value. I should have just bought freaking Amazon and called it a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny because I drive a Tesla, right? But I don't own any Tesla, so it sucks. You know, you see the stock go crazy, and you're like, man, like,
I bet, man. I bet. Well, props to you. I look forward to following your progress. Again, I'll bring the site up on the screen. TradeAries.com, ARIES, is the website. We've been on with Reda Fali. He's the founder of Aries, and the website again, TradeAries.com. And maybe you'll be able to come back on and tell us more about development as you get down the line, and update us on your trades, because we would love to have you back.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, man.
Bye.
All right, dyslexic Drew. It is already 1 o'clock. Time flies when you're having a lot of fun. I'm having too much fun here. What are you seeing out there? Anything, or any reaction to any of that last hour? It kind of just flew by. It was a blur.
Yeah, I think value investing does still exist. Just gotta throw that in there. Yeah. Is it dead for the moment? Yeah, but when it comes back alive, it'll be more live than ever. So AMC, gotta bring that up. On $25 down a little bit. Let's see what else I got going here.
Let's bring it up.
Anything you see?
I've only really been looking at AMC for the last hour since I've been on with you. Okay, nothing's really changed since we started. I guess nothing's really changed in the last hour. So, again, remember, it's the end of the month, everyone. There's going to be some volatility at the close, right? We have no market on Monday. So you can get some crazy swings happen in the final half hour or the final 10 minutes. So let's have that on our radar. Let's not forget that. But for the moment, the trade is off. And remember, AMC has been your leader. So what does that mean? Oh, AMC reverses? Okay, so screw AMC. Get it off your screen. Go to Beyond Meat, right? Trade that. And I'm saying at the turn, right? GameStop, not your leader. Trade
GameStop's
that.
Down.
Right, no, but I'm saying when AMC is your leader, find the leader and then go trade the followers. Like BlackBerry is a follower, right? BBBY, Bed Bath, is a follower, right? That's how you trade this thing. You don't spend all day watching AMC, and then trying to catch that. No, you see what AMC is doing, you observe it's the leader, and whatever AMC does, you go and trade its peers. And right now, its peers are Bed Bath. And how's Nikola doing? Right, Nikola chart looks identical, right? It's Nikola, it's Bed Bath, it's BlackBerry, right? I had the whole list this morning. How's Ride doing? RIDE. Same.
I know.
Right.
Microvision is trying to make a bit of a recovery here. I saw that in the chat and just pulled up the chart. That's making a pretty nice recovery. Just bounced off some support. So it should be interesting to see how that goes. But definitely don't want to discount what Spencer is saying, right? Don't just get focused on one stock because it made headlines today, right? There's a lot more going on to the market. You have access to all these different tickers, all these different stocks.
Yep.
And take advantage of it.
All right, that's going to be a wrap for us. We got Get Technical with Neil Hamilton live right now. Again, the stream is going to redirect. So somebody was saying, I think it was Tom White saying earlier that it wasn't working for him. Tom White, check your autoplay. If you have autoplay turned off, then yeah, the redirect's not going to work. But if the autoplay is turned on, then the stream will redirect straight to Get Technical. You shouldn't have to do anything. Neil is on right now talking charts. Guys, drop us a like. Let's go. We had Jason for like 10 minutes. We had no Luke. Last minute, chock full of guests, 3 guests in 1 hour. Just an insane amount of content here. We're going to hop off the stream. Give us a like. Drew, once again, it's been a pleasure. Any final thoughts?
Sundial above $1. We're going to 10, baby. We're going to 10.
We're on 10 and Sundial, everyone. You heard it here first.